Hi guys, and welcome back to another DrAce video, and today we're going to be playing Ride 4, and today is weekly challenge number 45 of Ride 4, and we're going to be on board the Triumph Speed Triple SRM in Oulton Park for the Foster Circuit. So it is a wet track, which is a nice surprise for the weekly challenges. I do understand that a lot of you guys are probably not going to be thrilled about that one, but for me, this circuit, this bike, and the combination of the weather is all pretty much what I like, so I'm happy that we've got a bit of a difference when it comes to the weather. But of course, the point of this video will be to try and help you guys get the goal lap time, which is a 1:02.300. So it's not a difficult lap to beat, but of course the circumstances with the weather, it could be a little bit more difficult. So we're going to try and go through the laps and hopefully give you some pointers. So I'm going to do the first lap as a bit of a reference, just get used to the bike, get used to the conditions, and then we will start churning out the fast lap times. Then I'll try and explain to you where to brake, where to look for braking, and how much acceleration is going to need to be applied for certain and specific corners. So going into the final corner, which is actually the penultimate corner for Lodge Corner, and then the final bit being the Deer Leap, they will go across the line, and there it is, the gold lap time already achieved. So going into turn 1, you're going to keep an eye out for the little pathway on your left hand side there. There's a small path that you can walk across if you were obviously crashed out and then going out to the outside of the circuit, so you can just pay attention to that as you go across the line. You're going to pretty much brake very firmly as you get across the line, so it's pretty much the second you get across the line, prepare yourself to start braking for turn 1. But now into the right hand side now for the Knickerbrook. Difficult corner to get right. I wanted to go tight, I wanted to go a little bit wide. I found a better rhythm towards the end, but for the time being I would just go for whatever you feel is right at the time. But of course, we've got a lot of laps to do here in Oulton Park, and I'm going to give you some more pointers as we go. So be very careful as well from running it wide on the left-hand side there. We went onto the rumble strip and kind of went a little bit over it. Just be careful if you do, because it will invalidate your lap time, and then of course your lap time will be completely useless. But onto the left-hand side, we'll go for the Deer Leap. Across the line, that is an improvement of a 58.346. So braking at that little pathway I mentioned a moment ago, into the Old Hall corner, and then bringing on the acceleration kind of abruptly, but not too much. Electronics that I'm using is a 0 anti-wheelie, 0 TCS, but 2 on the engine brake. It's entirely up to you guys what you want to use, but I would advise using something similar for the sense of the anti-wheelie, because this bike didn't really want to launch itself up into the front. It didn't really want to wheelie anywhere, so bear that in mind if you want to try and shave off a few tenths of your time. But now onto the left-hand side, going into the left-hand side near the water tower, and we're going to bring the brakes on just after that rumble strip after the water tower. You have to be very careful there and make sure that you're braking quite firmly, but not overly aggressive, because we are in wet conditions. If you want to keep pushing on the brake, you will probably drop the front, so be very, very careful in the wet conditions. I can't stress that enough, because this is a different challenge than what we're used to with the rain tyres on this fantastic circuit. So across the line we will go, looking for that little bit of a pathway, braking it in, getting nice and tight to the apex of the Old Hall corner. I had to make a slight adjustment there because I went a little bit too tight. Cut the corner ever so slightly on the rumble strip, but we're still able to continue the lap as we now get on the left hand side. I think Cascades here in turn 3 is going to be a big problem for a lot of the aces and a lot of the riders and the newcomers that are going to be coming to Ride 4. So just be very, very gentle on the brakes. I want you to pay attention to the bottom right hand corner of your screen. You're going to see the gauges. You see a green gauge that's obviously moving when I'm using the acceleration. The front top right is the brakes for the front brake, and the bottom, being the bottom right corner, that is the rear brake. So just pay attention to those. Seeing and understanding how much brake needs to be applied for some of the most difficult corners will help you get the goal lap time. So I'm going to run it a little bit wide here into the Lodge corner. A mistake on my part, which actually would have been a really good lap time, but that's not really what I'm trying to do here. I'm just trying to show you guys how it can be done here in the Foster Circuit of Oulton Park. So turn 1, we've pretty much got that nailed down now. We know what we're doing. Bringing on the acceleration, going across the rumble strip, and we're going to move it into the right hand side here to take a tighter apex into Denton's, and then bring on the brakes going into Cascades. Now it's really difficult to keep the bike upright and not lose the front going into that corner, because it just gets away from you. It's off camber. It's a very difficult corner to get right, so it is going to take a couple of retries on that one, but don't fear, you'll get better at it. It's just one of those things, you've got to find the rhythm, you've got to find that feeling for it. So by braking a little bit more gentle, maybe a bit more harder, but pushing the rider weight backwards into the rear of the bike helps a lot. So it's just try it out, but I will implore you just to be careful on the brakes going into Cascades. That is the third corner, of course, here in Oulton Park. But now bring on the acceleration past the Ghost from the previous lap where we made that mistake. So this lap time will probably get us into the 57s, and it certainly does. Braking at turn 1, braking at the little pathway, going onto the right-hand side for the Old Hall corner, bringing on the acceleration, moving it to the right-hand side now, so we're kind of in the middle of the track. Bring on the brakes ever so slightly. Did you see in the bottom right-hand corner how much brake was being applied there? That is crucial to understand how you are going to brake into Cascades without dropping the motorcycle. Now onto the right-hand side, you can actually go a little bit tighter there than you might think. This time we went for a very tighter line, and look at the speed difference we got going up into Clay Hill. This is a massive difference now compared to the previous lap and the Ghost we're just seeing behind us on screen right now. But onto the right-hand side we'll go. Be very careful acceleration here. You may see in the bottom right-hand corner I just reduced the acceleration ever so slightly, so from being 100% acceleration going into that right-hander, just drops it ever so slightly, about 75-80%. So as you feel the bike lifting up ever so slightly, just let go of the acceleration, just a small amount, and that's enough to stop the bike from wheeling too much. But onto the right-hand side for Old Hall corner, I'm going to say it again, I'm going to try and drill it into you this time for turn 2. Denton's correctly done. Turn 3, look how much brake is being applied there. You don't see much of it, it's just a gentle movement. It's a small precision index finger pressing on that left trigger. That is all I need from you guys, and you guys will be absolutely fine. The rest of it I think you're going to be okay with. Going up into Clay Hill is a little bit difficult. I do the same thing as well as we do in the right hand side after Druids. Very similar to the point where you're going to just gently let go of the acceleration. Pay attention to the bottom right corner of your screen. The bike lifts a little bit, we just reduce acceleration. It's very simple. It's just very, very simple, but it can be a little bit counterintuitive and maybe a little bit off-putting to think that I need to reduce the acceleration to gain more speed. But let me tell you, it will work for specific corners like that. So I've got a couple more laps in me yet, and I'm hoping for a better lap time. So I think I'm going to put the hammer down now and start trying to improve one's lap time. So keep watching the video, keep looking at the certain points. If there's a specific point that you are struggling on, let me know in the comment section down below. I'm more than happy to assist you. That is why I do these videos every single week. Just to aid you, I know what I'm doing. I've got the gold last time, but I need you guys to get up there as well. That's the point of this video. And I want to mention as well, just because we have an invalidated lap doesn't mean we should just give up there. I'm absolutely wellying it now because I have that. There's no fear actually. We have that complete disregard for a possible chance of completely ruining the lap because the lap's already gone. And when this happens, you can actually gain a lot more time. You can be a little bit more braver than you would have been because you were concerned about losing the lap time. So if you get an invalidated lap, don't panic. Continue going. Just keep pushing. As long as you keep on pushing and keep on moving and practicing, you will improve. So don't fear the invalidated lap. Don't fear it. We don't need it here. But onto the right hand side, we'll go for a very short change of direction for Cascades. Gentle on the acceleration, gentle on the brakes. Everything is gentle, everything is smooth, there's nothing abrupt. The analog stick is not getting thrown to the left or to the right. It's smooth, controlled movements. The same will be said for the brakes, and the same will certainly be said for the acceleration as well. So on left hand side, we invalidated the lap once again. Another little mistake from me. I have noticed the tyres are getting a little bit colder in some instances, so it could be worthwhile to nip back into the pits to get a fresh pair of tyres on. Of course, you are only using the rain tyres, so you cannot change the tyres, but what you can do is obviously just go back to the pits to get a fresh pair of tyres on as well. And while I'm in the pits, I'm going to mention something because I'm bound to get asked. I don't use any setup changes, so there is no setup changes for me. If you want to try a few setup changes, changing the gearing, entirely up to you, but for me, completely default. Absolutely default. I think the default basic setting for all the bikes is sufficient enough for me. But now on to the right-hander for the very tight and very, very easy to corner to lose acceleration. I keep going into that corner with a bit too much acceleration. Even I can learn from my own mistakes in this instance. But just be very smooth, in control, and I think you're going to be absolutely fine. So I'm hoping to see a lot more guys on the leaderboards for the top positions. Of course, if you are on PC, you'll see my name up there as well. But for the time being, we are going to go into the second to final corner. So the penultimate corner, bringing in nice and tight to the apex head. You see how much a little bit of rear brake we applied there as well, just to get ourselves into the lodge corner. charging down the line now to get to the Deer Leap, and there you go, across the line, a 57.021. So those were some short and very rapid fire lap times here in Oulton Park for the Foster Circuit. Difficult for me to pinpoint exactly everything I wanted to say regarding specific corners, so I hope I've done a good enough job. If I haven't, let me know in the comment section down below. We'll chat about the track, we'll chat about the bike, and we'll see if we can get you guys the gold lap times. But upon that note, guys, that's it from me. So at the top of the leaderboards with a 57.021, 0.6 of a second quicker than the rider in second, currently anyway, because I'm guessing things will change. But upon that note, guys, I really hope you enjoyed the video. If this video has helped you, let me know in the comment section down below. If you really enjoyed the video, I'd highly advise you hit the like button and consider subscribing as well, because I do a lot more Ride 4 content and a lot more bike content in general. But that's it from me, guys, so thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Ciao for now. Oh hi, didn't quite see you there. Good to see you're still here. If this video didn't quite set your appetite, then why not watch some more DrAce content by clicking the video shown on screen now. Furthermore, if you would like to follow me on social media, you can do so now with the links down in the description. Consider subscribing so you don't miss a single DrAce video.